Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to the Tuesday show where we talk about what happened on Tuesday.
Welcome to the
And
NXT Sour Grabs post show where Eric Bischoff is here. What? Craziness. Iron Survivor qualifiers. So much happened on the show.
so much.
We're going to talk about how much of what happened makes any sense, but we're going to get into that. Please leave a thumbs up on this video. It helps people find us in the algorithm with our special sour brand over here on Fightful. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. That also helps out. We are growing over here. We want to continue to do so. We are closing in on 120,000 subscribers because you guys are awesome. But let's be so for real, okay? Denise's last show was on Fightful yesterday, and she's kicking our butt. So we, as a unit, we need to go head-to-head with Denise Salcedo, but also reminding you to subscribe to Fightful Select because as the Starks turns, my God, the week this guy has had is unreal for Ricky Starks. So much news went up about there. So much news about the pay-per-view in general coming out of what is it? Full Gear. It was Full Gear. There's a lot of these.
It was indeed Full Gear. Yes.
Mm-hmm. We also had some Fightful Select scoops for you today, including that Eric Bischoff pre-taped video, as well as just the rundown and a couple of other things. So head over there. So much going on Fightful Select, but more contract news along the way, which OMG, Shawn is so excited about because it's like his favorite thing. But
yes,
closing out the year strong here on the scoop side. So subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. This weekend, you'll also be getting Alex and I reviewing Survivor Series, which has 3 matches made, I believe. Because
no, they added 2 of them. They added the Intercontinental Triple Threat, and then also on Raw, for some reason, they added a SmackDown match, which was LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura. So it has 5. It has the magic number of 5.
We've gotten to the quota.
We've gotten to the quota. There will be no more matches.
Okay. You know what? With 2 War Games matches on it, I have a little bit less of a problem with that because those are going to take up some time. But please send in your super chats. Please send in your humper chats. And it is Thanksgiving week coming up. We talked about this on Fightful Select a little bit yesterday, but both of us were just saying that we're so thankful to have the SGS here to be able to get to do this. And I just wanted to reiterate that on the main channel because I have so much fun getting to do this every week, most nights of the week. But Sour Grabs, we were talking about this yesterday, like the way you guys talk to each other in the chat, the way that you sometimes don't even watch the show and tune in. It means so much that we kind of have this little subdivision of the greater Fightful verse of Fightful country out there. So thank you so much for that. Should we be doing Thanksgiving puns? Is that where we should be headed with this?
Yes.
Like the probably meal centric. Yeah, like sides and Thanksgiving meal puns.
Thanksgiving dish puns.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going.
Or Thanksgiving stuff you do on Thanksgiving.
Parade.
Watch football.
I'm into that.
Take a walk with your cousins. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like whatever kind of pun you can do there. But yeah, do those because that'll be good. Because we are incredibly thankful for the SGS being able to do this every week. This is a brand of review that exists nowhere else on the planet.
It's true.
It only exists because there are enough of you who tolerate our particular brand of weirdness.
So. We do wrap our sourness in a lot of silliness. So you're bound to get a lot of both. Some people like neither. Some people like both. You're getting both over here on Sour Grabs. But Alex, everything sucks, sure, but everything kind of is just wild on NXT. Like I have to say, since we've moved to the CW, there has not been a time. This used to be the case because I set up the broadcasts for this show.
Right.
I'm not saying it's all great and it all makes sense, but whenever I set up a broadcast and I have to change the entire title, it tells me you're doing stuff actively. Now, there's a lot of things that are still very much not for me, and there's a lot of things that I'm like are newsworthy but aren't necessarily cohesive storytelling or positive steps in booking for the brand. For example, Lola Vice and Jada Parker having ended their ECW arena match with smashing a brick over someone's head and that not being the blow off. That doesn't make a lot of creative sense to me. But I will say, like, we get a Gigi Dolin return today. Eric Bischoff shows up. It does feel like since they moved to the CW, there's been a concerted effort to make things more eventful. So, yeah.
Yeah. First of all, pleasantries opening the show from your brother, JW Pringle.
Hi, JW.
Drumstick Alex, green bean casserole Kate, gobble gobble Papa Paul Elizabeth, sister Louise, and all the SGS. What is the worst Thanksgiving food?
Well, I'm vegan, so this is rough.
But
to be so for real, it's always turkey.
Wow.
I'm team, like, I just feel like turkey is usually so dry, and I'm not a big gravy person.
That's only because you haven't had turkey done right. That's the thing. It's like turkey has a tendency to get dry.
Are you shooting on Kathy right now and her turkey skills?
Turkey's almost impossible to do right. I've had it done right like twice in my life, and not by my own mother either. So like it's really difficult, and I agree. It has a tendency to dry out. The problem is you like let's thaw it for 6 days, and then put it in the oven for 9 hours. And like if something's gonna go wrong there, the only way to actually cook turkey is the most dangerous thing in the world, which is to dip it in a vat of boiling oil. Like that's way dangerous. Listen, dry turkey or your house going up in flames. It's really, I mean, that's a Sophie's choice there. So,
I would also say, so a lot of people have like the warm meal thing. I was a ridiculously picky eater up until college. Like ridiculously. So I would not participate in it. I would have like my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But what I love most is the cranberry from the can, not even the real stuff. I like the jellied with the ridges in the side of it already to cut. Oh, that's my favorite. But like
it have the ridges. It's gotta have the ridges.
Even like on the green side, like on the broccoli or your green bean side, with olive oil and coarse salt, I'm taking that over the turkey. And now that I'm vegan, obviously, like, I'm so pro the sides over the full meal, man. I really am.
Well, you see, the way you actually, a very easy way of combating the dryness is to every so often just pull it out of the oven, lift up the skin and shove some butter under there, and let that just, it's really, really good for you stuff. The thing about it is, I honestly can't. I don't like warm turkey, like in any.
You're a cold cuts guy.
I will happily save my portion of the white meat from the night before for a perfect cold turkey sandwich with real turkey sliced off the bird, as opposed to you go get lunch meats, you get cold cuts from the thing. But like, there's nothing like a real, like when it's piled high, you can barely squeeze it small enough to fit in your mouth. That's the
oh my god, my mom, the leftover wrap that she would do the next day. Oh my god, throwing some cranberry in the wrap. Brilliant stuff.
I mean, so I guess
the best wrestling review of all time.
So the answer is, the answer you were looking for is yams. Meat Norma says, I used to work in a barbecue joint that served mac and cheese stuffed turkey legs. Mine will be wrapped in bacon because I'm a meat sicko. As Master Yoda would say, crank we shall. Kate, check your DMs, pal.
Meat Normas, we're the best meat, as they say, for the sickos. My DMs are an interesting place right now. Stay with me. But I have been contacted by you and Ricardo about the Fightful Awards. I'm working on that for you guys.
Very good. Yeah. And Matthew Hooks says we should get us SGS Thanksgiving meal in person. An SGS Thanksgiving sounds like a wonderful idea sometime for people who are close enough to drive to one another. That would be a wonderful thing. If you ever do that, please send pictures.
I would say that's true, but we also should have thought ahead, and we should have been doing something behind the paywall where, like, well, first of all, I could pass through dishes, but also next time, like, me and Norvis will have the turkey. I will bring something terribly bland and vegan. Like, we'll do a we'll do a potluck, but you only get to eat one dish because it's digital.
Yes. Your father says this week, I'm thankful for not watching NXT, but instead relying on the best team with the best mod to watch it for us. Thankful also for the entire SGS family, including our son, JW Pringle.
My dad is basically also, not to brag, but to brag. He got nominated for like the best softball player in the history of the world's awards. And he
is that a thing they do every year?
Yeah,
they do it every year. Okay,
yeah, that's the name of them. And he thinks he's going to come in second in the particular division that he's in, but he is also a West Orange, New Jersey Hall of Famer, so I think he has a better shot than he thinks. But shout out to my dad for being awesome.
Yep.
And the best pitcher ever in slow pitch softball.
Yeah. Jambeard says, I always do a leftover bowl, turkey, mashed potato, stuffing, sometimes barbecue, cauliflower, or broccoli, then smother it in butter, then gravy. So just death, just all
heart attack.
Just basically, like, could you inject that straight into my aorta, and then we'll see what happens. We started out with everybody being sad about JSU except for me, and then everybody in the crowd being like misty-eyed, and then they showed like the Chase U banner. People expected it to be Andre Chase or somebody, and it was Ridge and shirtless for no reason. And he's
I mean, if I looked like that, I'd probably not wear a shirt.
But I mean, that's not a thing where, like, I don't know. It's not like you just came from the gym. Like you wore a shirt to work. You took it off. Just, I don't know.
We don't know he wore a shirt to work. Randy Orton's never worn pants in his life.
Ridge Holland doesn't have his own merch. That's what that looks like to me. Is they haven't made Ridge Holland merch, so he doesn't even have a shirt he could wear to cut the sleeves off of. If he had his own shirt, he'd be wearing his own shirt. I'm just saying. Later, we also got Trick Williams not wearing a shirt, and I know that guy's got his own merch. What is this, like a directive? Like,
yeah, but he also has abs for days. Like, I feel like I would, if I had a physique like that, I would try and not wear a shirt as much as possible.
Listen, I mean, just leave a little something to the imagination, fellas. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Some decorum, not very demure and not very mindful. Is that a thing they're still saying? Was that 6 months ago? And I've just still got that on the brain. He comes out and he says, "Oh, you're expecting Andre Chase? I told you so. I'll be seeing you, Trick Williams, at Deadline." And then he leaves. And this was all for nothing. Like, there's no reason any of this had to be on. He comes out later to talk to Trick Williams.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do this. He could have
said Healy, though.
I guess it does. Whatever. I just want this to Chase U thing to be entirely behind us. It's not.
No.
As evidenced by a Vignetti.
Chase University. Vignette.
Thank you.
So Chase University, the new class, is totally happening. Like, that's never going to end for you.
Okay. Well, his adjunct professor now working underneath him. There's a very sad scene where he's this is later in the show. He's a very sad scene where he's putting posters in a cardboard box, like you do when you pack up. I'm just going to loosely roll these posters and stuff them into a cardboard box because they mean so much to me. Also,
he's cleaning out his classroom.
Also a towel and his classroom. Those are the walls are made out of curtains. You can't hang posters on curtains. And then he walks out of his door that has a porthole in it. Is his office on a submarine? Why does he have a porthole in his? I don't know.
I'm just picturing hanging up the posters with bobby pins.
yeah. There you go. No, it's safety pins.
Safety pins. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Safety pins.
And then as he's about to walk down the hall, we hear, "Hey, Mr. Chase." Turns around. and a big thing gets over, it's got to be Bodhi, right? If it's not Bodhi, I'll be really upset. It's got to be
It
Bodhi.
has to be Bodhi.
It has to be Bodhi. But here's the deal. Like, they just show us the rest of it. Why is this a cliffhanger for next week? Like, let's show the rest of the thing. I don't understand why we got to but this is presented by Progressive. So we're going to show you 3 minutes of a man forlornly stuffing posters into a cardboard box and then cut off right before the thing that we're all actually maybe excited for. I think that was very funny.
I love this. Did he roll up the poster with the cat hanging out of a tree branch?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've seen enough roll-ups on Raw yesterday. There were 2 of them to finish matches.
Right.
This many roll-ups of a poster just feels like these match agents got to talk to each other more. You know what I mean?
Was it a schoolboy roll-up of a poster?
I think it had to be. It's a university roll-up at the very least.
I mean,
oh my God! Why isn't that his finisher? But
don't tempt them, Kate.
I will.
They'll do it. They'll do it.
I will say, I think maybe there were enough things that happened on this show, and it's 2 days before Thanksgiving that maybe they didn't think that we're going to have like the most people tuning in, and they've got enough other things that they're taking away. So they'll save the big reveal for next week to balance things out a little bit more. You had a return in the women's division. You had Eric Bischoff. Yeah. So, but also that's just, they love dragging out stories. So,
yeah. So that was the opening little deal with Ridge Holland was nothing. And then we did what has a claim to be the best TV match of NXT for the entire year of 2024. Ethan Page versus Axiom. And I'm watching it going like, so I want you to explain to me why you've booked Ethan Page the way you have since he's been here since June. If this is what he can give you on just a random Tuesday, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, if he can do this, and listen, it takes 2 to tango. Axiom had a fantastic match,
unreal.
But like Ethan Page, it feels like he's had like been running around with the handbrake on.
Yeah.
Like he's just, they're slowing him down. They're making sure he's not allowed to do all of the stuff he can do. When he showed up, we were both really excited because I was like, man, this guy, if you just loosen up on the chains, this dude can give you great matches. We saw some of that in AEW, but then they stopped using him on television. And I'm like, okay, well, if he gets a prominent spot in NXT and they actually let him go, he could be great. And immediately they were like, we're not going to let him go. We're gonna book him like The Miz outside the ring, and inside the ring, he's gonna pin a dude while asleep to win the championship. And so, you know what I mean? Like, they haven't really,
and get rolled up in non-match situations,
right? And getting rolled up in non-match situations, and have a whole feud based on whether or not a guy can be pinned if there's not a match going on. Spoiler alert: he can't. So this is what Ethan Page should have been doing for the past 5 months, and I would hope going forward, this is what he will be doing from now on.
Yes. So unreal match. Both of them. Shout out to Axiom, by the way, who
so great
in this. He also he, I believe, gave an interview, or a kid gave an interview saying that he's enjoying retirement, and it just Axiom responded to that saying what a legend he was in this business, and the influence on him from a kid is so obvious. Really, like. It almost feels like we had a passing of the torch where it never got passed in a way. So just shout out to him replying to the Fightful article earlier about that. But, there's a couple of times where we've been really encouraged by things and they are hit and miss, more miss than hit, I feel like, unfortunately, where it feels like someone might have had a breakout moment and they could either capitalize on that or they could not. I feel like Duke Hudson had that moment against Obafemi where like he in a singles match with just like a clean ending and just here's an opening to go wrestle and show what you can do. They didn't really do a ton with that. Ethan Page seems like a more highly profile talent, and even though we haven't liked his booking, he's consistently been at the top of the card. So I hope they see that those two things can be true, that like this feels like the more authentic version of what Ethan Page is capable of in the ring. And also the crowd was very into this incredible match. So you don't have to necessarily add on all these layers of what I think they think is clever things and what I interpret as overdoing and honestly lazier things. I think they're less clever. But this match was awesome. This is the Ethan Page that we knew was there. This is the Ethan Page that we've been waiting to see since he joins. And, you know, I'm kind of glad because I am over the start and stop with Ethan Page. I'm over the blue balls of it all. So I'm glad. But there's another thing that's blue around these parts that has to do with the male area. And that's BlueChew. And we're going to tell you all about it with an addendum at the end, a big BlueChew announcement.
BlueChew, main event performance, main event confidence, and a main event deal. Go to BlueChew.com and use the code FIGHTFUL, and you will get BlueChew with their first shipment for free. Shipment? Yeah, I said shipment. No waiting in line at the pharmacy, no awkward doctor's visits. You take their online exam, and then if approved, it's shipped straight to your door. That's right. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and much more affordable. How can you pass up on this? How can you pass up on that confidence? How can you pass up on that performance? How can you pass up on making your sex life better? That's what BlueChew is here to do. You don't have to have a problem to use BlueChew. Just get that additional performance. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
Guys, guess what?
What?
Starting, I think, in December, maybe even sooner, you don't have to use the code FIGHTFUL anymore. You're just going to get all of the same perks that you normally would.
Wow.
I feel like that's going to screw up all my little like jokes and my segues where I'm like, if you blah, 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 BlueChew.com code FIGHTFUL. Now I'm just going to have to like, that's going to take me a while. That's going to take me a while.
If you blah, 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 BlueChew.
That's it. It's gonna take me so long.
No, it will. It really will.
So just know if you're like, where's the code? You don't even have to use it anymore.
You don't need to use it. You don't have to use it. No.
It.
It's very, very nice to not have to use it. You know,
there
obviously,
you go.
It's very good. You know, we want that. So,
always a good sign when you stare at the rundown and just start laughing.
Yeah.
Or were you staring at chats? Because we got some funny ones.
No, yeah, we do have some funny ones. I was looking at the puns, and I'm going to save them for a little later. But Luis saying this was like if Paul E. Heyman randomly booked Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Mike Awesome on a random ECW taping just because it was a fun idea. This was awesome. Page's best match since his match against Tony Nese on last year's Final Battle. Certainly his best match in NXT, but the bar was not very high to clear. This was excellent. I was a little interested in the not interested. I don't know. It didn't. I don't know. The finish being Axiom hitting him with a giant Hurricane Rana off the top rope, and then Ethan Page just getting up and hitting him with a lariat and winning, felt like there was a bridge in there that was just out. You know, like you drive bridge out 3 miles, so you got to turn around and go back. There was a bridge that wasn't there between him being hit with a Hurricane Rana and him laying him out with like a clothesline from hell, and that was it. We don't see Page win with lariats very often.
No,
so
normally
it was a very specific. Yeah, so that was interesting, but it was great. It was great. Page of course, gets interviewed afterwards, says nobody wants to see me in the Iron Survivor. I was like, it's not we don't want to see you in the Iron Survivor. It's that you've been hovering around the title with no, like, even when you were champion, you were booked so awful that we love you, Ethan Page. It's not that we don't want you. We don't want their terrible booking of you to continue just because. But they let him have this match, so maybe the booking changes, but also please don't win the Iron Survivor match. Everybody else who's in the Iron Survivor match comes out. Well, Nathan Frazier is out there to root on his fellow man Axiom. So he was the first one to say something. Then there's a revolving door promo of Wesley and Javon Evans. Wesley cut the locks.
Yeah,
he cut the dreadlocks. They kept showing Iron Survivor and all this kind of stuff, like pictures of him, looking fierce in little match graphics, and he's got the dreadlocks, and it's like, did you slip while holding scissors? Like, it just felt like it didn't make a lot of sense. I don't know why he changed it, but it is very dramatic. It's a very dramatic change.
It is.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I appreciate Ethan Page on promo so much because he's just so great at walking the line of acknowledging kind of what's around him, but also being in character. Yes. And he has been around the title picture the whole time. And to your point, it's not go away heat with him. It's it's the recycled patterns that we're tired of, not the guy in it. Shawn has an interview with Ethan Page coming out, by the way, so keep an ear out and an eye out for that. He's a fantastic interview. I made requests for certain questions to get asked. I hope he asked him about his relationship with Ava, because it feels different than most people's on the show. Mm-hmm. Like, because Ethan Page is so grounded, I feel like I get Kevin Owens vibes from Ethan Page so much in the way that he's like, I'm going to make all of this make sense, even if it doesn't. You watch me. Which is a very valuable guy to have on this particular brand. The people in the Iron Survivor on both the men's and the women's side, I feel like most of them make a lot of sense. Like I anticipate the match being very good. I still think Wesley is a favorite to win. I think Ethan Page will do some really fun work in it, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Louise talking about how to add to Kate's comment, hopefully they do something with Ethan after this match. Well, Idris and Malik had a standout match earlier this year, and they did nothing with them before NFA's current injury. So we'll have to see if they've changed up their formula of let people have a great TV match and then do nothing with them. So that's been their formula. We'll see if they've changed that up.
I'm so bummed Eddie Thorpe is turning heel, because I feel like Eddie Thorpe versus Ethan Page would be incredible. It would be like an incredible feud, but it doesn't seem realistic now that Ethan Page is on this path and the one that I almost
we'll get to that ridiculous Eddie Thorpe thing later.
I always keep wanting to call him by his New Japan name.
Backstage, there is a segment with Nikita and Ashanti standing at a bar table. One of those tables that's tall enough that you stand at it, but they're obviously just in the break room. Do they have? Is this supposed to be? But is this supposed to be a nightclub? But with all like fluorescent lights on in the background, like, just have it be a place where they would normally be. Is there this such place decorated like this in a regular, like, I don't know.
It feels like it should be part of the Toxic Lounge.
It does. The headline telling me that this is a segment that happened on the rundown from Luis is this Nikita, Ashanti, and Carmen thing is the worst thing in wrestling TV, made even more egregious after Carmen's very good showing at Bloodsport. Yes, Carmen Petrovic won her Bloodsport match and comes back to this, which is Nikita being like, like, you were interested, right? Because, like, you did text me. And Ashanti being like, well, come on. Who didn't I text? And Carmen was like, "Oh, you said you didn't text her. Oh my God." And then leaves and like whatever. Like I had to my brain shut off. And I don't know what happened in the rest of this segment, but I stopped thinking about it. So who didn't I text conjures up that there is a phone tree that you get on a little piece of paper when you show up and everybody's numbers are there? Like wouldn't you have to ask Nikita for her number? Who didn't I texted every lady at the Performance Center. I just went down the whole phone tree and was like, boop, 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 boop. Hey girl, what's up? To everybody.
I like to think that it's not just women. He just is a big texter. Like the assistant GM to the head of creative, he's texting that person too. I am very happy for Carmen beating up Sumi Sakai at Bloodsport. That's incredible. Bloodsport is tough when there's someone that now has a split personality in that way. Like this is so different. I get what they're going for. I think they're swinging and missing in an impressive way. Like a knuckleball got thrown. They just look really bad on it. And that like Ashanti has a charisma that could lend itself to something like this. And Carmen, I think, desperately needed something other than Xing Xing, the swords. So I get what they're trying to do in pulling this side out of her, like something that's more character-based. But it's not more character-based. It's gimmick-based and feels like this isn't... We've talked about this before, how sometimes it'll feel like there's a split NXT where some backstages feel like a high school special, and then we'll also randomly get like that incredible Wesley Obafemi vignette where we're like, what? Like, how is this the same show?
Right.
This is on like the bad side.
Right. I mean, he could easily say, yes, I did text her, but that was days before our match we had together where we had this connection, and I haven't texted her back since she texted me back because I think we have this connection. And like he could say that, but I mean they're not interested in actually solving the problem that they've presented their characters with. They just want the characters to live in the problem and expect it not to be annoying.
I also feel like other than like cool guy factor, I don't understand what I'm supposed to believe Carmen Petrovic likes about him, because he was just mean to her from the beginning.
Because he's not available. Because he's been mean to her. Because he's been negging her. This is the thing. There's a reason why all those how to pick up women books.
He's peacocking.
All been saying like all you got to do is like show her a little bit of attention and then withhold it. She'll lose her mind about it, and it's dumb. I don't like it. Please, but apparently it works on some women.
Not for me.
Not for you, no, because you have self-respect.
I do.
Yeah. And I like to believe that Carmen Petrovic does too. It's just the character they've given her doesn't.
Does not.
Yeah. Brinley and Sol Ruka hanging out backstage, making sure that we know who they are because they say Sol Ruka and Brinley Reese under them. And it just feels so funny to me every time they're like, these are the people who are talking. Because we really need to be told. You know what I mean? Like, here's the deal. Sol Ruka won a match, like, to get into the Iron Survivor. And the Iron Survivor is, like, next week. And you're not really doing anything with Sol Ruka to, like, make it seem like she's more important than she was when she was off TV for a couple of months after her loss to Kelani Jordan. Like, you put her in the Iron Survivor match, but you're not doing anything with her to be, like, to up our chances of thinking that she might win it. You know, they're not doing any of that. But then Lola is like, did you see what I did to Jada Parker? Jada Parker's definitely not going to be in the match because of what I did to her. Did everybody see what I did to her? Spanish phrase, Spanish phrase, Spanish phrase, translation of Spanish phrase. And I mean, there's that. And then Stephanie gets to say her whole thing in Spanish. And Lola gets to respond to her in Spanish, but I had to do what I had to do to make sure that she lost. It's like, okay, well, you just stay out of my business kind of a thing. Lola doesn't seem to, I mean,
what she did to have to cost her the match was stand there, wasn't it? Was this when she just stood there?
No, she stood there. She was holding a brick.
She was holding a brick.
She was holding a brick. You remember how they had a match where weapons were legal? A match where weapons were legal, and Jada Parker hit her in the face with a weapon, which was legal, and she's very upset about that. So she, anyway, Ren Sinclair is there also. This is the brunette side of the. There's a line of duct tape down the middle of the locker room. Blondes over here, brunettes over here, and Ren Sinclair walks up and says, "You know, I think that maybe it's not a wise idea to." Jada Parker hit you in the face with a brick and you want to fight her again. I think that's maybe a little overkill. And Lola Vice says, take that up with the bookers. I think it's dumb that we're still having this feud too, but they're telling me I have to do this. And Lola,
that is verbatim what was said on TV.
She said that, and I quote, and then she also said, if you would like to talk to me about this, we should also fight about it. When Ren was just giving some friendly advice. And Lola's like, I would like to punch you in the face very much. And so they had a match about it.
Ren Sinclair is great. Like I am sold on Ren Sinclair. She excels so much in everything that she's given from a character perspective. She has the Chelsea Green gene of where it's just, I'm going to maximize every second I have on television. Mm-hmm. She's fantastic. I feel this way about 90% of Jericho feuds. Like where they're either booked in reverse or the blow off feels like we already did it and we're doing it again.
Right.
ECW arena. Come on. Like with a brick, and it was the third match that they'd had.
Yeah.
Like this does not you've there's something, I don't mean dangerous and like it's gonna ruin the program. Mm-hmm. But like when an angle overstays its welcome, you can't you just kill both performers' momentum.
Yeah.
Like you have the blow off, and the reason you move on from that is because they need to move on to other stuff. Like there's a difference between we had a best of 7 between Carmelo Hayes and Andrade versus like we had a violent personal feud that kind of climaxed with the amount of violence that you're going to give it. And now we're still fighting for some reason. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So I don't love that. I don't think that this brand is going to go more violent than they went at the ECW arena. So I don't think that NXT Underground match is going to.
So Lola says she had needed a weapon to beat me. I don't need weapons. I just need this. And I'm like, well, you had that in the last match.
You also had you still had fists.
Yeah.
You still had fists.
You're only allowed to use weapons. You're not allowed to use fists. It's a very specific kind of match that was not the stipulation you were in a couple of weeks ago.
These Philly street fights got weird. You can only use weapons.
They duct tape kendo sticks into your hands. And you can't let go of them, so you're just swinging them around like this. The match there's a match between Lola and Ren Sinclair. It's good. It's very good. Both of them are fine. She wins with a back fist, knocks her out, and then says that she's calling out Jada Parker for NXT Underground. Okay, so. I guess we know who's not winning the Fatal 4-Way Last Chance qualifier. Like this was done all out of order. Like you would obviously the thing that's going to happen is Lola Vice comes in and ruins Jada Parker's thing again next week. So you just do that, and then they keep fighting backstage, and then you have Ava be like NXT Underground at Deadline. And there you go. That's it. Or it's the Tuesday after or whatever. But next week, Jada Parker is in a fatal 4-way where it is legal for Lola to come in and backfist her as many times as she wants.
Yeah.
and so we know what this is. We know what this is coming to. It just feels out of order to call her out for a match that she can only have if she loses a match where you can cheat to help her lose. That just feels very set up in a way, like it's
a very specific. Yeah, you've told us what's going to happen without telling us what's going to happen.
Jambeard says maybe it's the same brick from Kiana's purse. I would like that if there was like a brick that keeps being used over and over again. Although it does explode whenever it hits anything, so it can't be the same brick unless they like glue it back together.
A really impressive mason
with some Elmers, just
It's like this really gnarly preschool looking brick. Yeah. If Cody's still holding on to his mask for all that time, I feel like the brick thing is fair. Yeah, guys, adjacent of NXT, and if you're wondering where the Ceases have been, there is Dancing with the Stars going on, and I want to say this is why it's so important to vote. It's your civic duty to vote for Alana Mayer. And I think voting's closed, but I'm waiting I hope Steve Kornacki's out there with an electoral map telling us how the voting has gone for Dancing with the Stars. I need to know.
I don't know what any of this is.
I don't really watch it either. Just I love Alana Mayer. So, but
I've never heard that name before right now.
She's an Olympic rugby player. She's very cool.
Oh,
and very funny.
Cool. So is that who that is? Okay. So how do I put this? A couple of weeks ago, Ava told a bunch of testosterone enhanced dudes in their 20s and 30s in conference room B that she wanted to see them all step up and show who really deserves a title shot. She did not give them further instruction. So they did so since then they have been brawling with each other at every opportunity and in every location afforded to them by the Performance Center. It has gotten excessive, shall we say. All of the tag teams came out to interrupt the interrupting promo parade after the match that Axiom lost. And so then Nathan Frazier and Axiom got involved in the brawl as well. They were just brawling. They brawled into the parking lot. It was kind of fun, but I wonder who it is because they're dead now. Somebody had been like thrown headfirst through the rear window of a vehicle and was like laying in there unconscious. He's dead. I mean, dead. Let's just say dead. Because if you're thrown headfirst through the rear window of a vehicle hard enough to break all the way through it, then your spine's been compressed and you're either paralyzed or dead. Unfortunately, he's not cleared to compete in the battle royal that they're going to have to determine who the number one contenders are because he's dead. So it was just a guy in nondescript black pants. So it's possible it was a security guard. If so, I hope he's got Blue Cross because he's either that or life insurance because he is dead. I don't know. That was
first Brown Breaker goes into an announce table into the corner of it at full speed in a drop toe hold yesterday. He somehow survived. I would say now Ava knows she has to be extremely specific when she says step up, because if she's not, people are going to go to the NXT parking lot and we know what happens there. Right. It is the demise. You're not getting a title shot. You're risking your life. Yeah. I thought perhaps like some qualifiers for a tournament. They seem to think it's just constant fighting as a through line throughout weeks of the show.
So they've been fighting constantly in a giant group. The first week that she announced it 2 weeks ago, all through last week, all through this week. And they have you see Stone and Stevie Turner screaming at them to stop when they really should go and scream at Ava for not giving them specific instructions on how to step up. But anyway, so they think the best way to handle this is to have them all fight each other in one big group in the middle of one ring, as opposed to trying to make it orderly in some way. You two versus you two, everybody else is banned from the building while that's happening. You two versus you two, everybody else is banned from the building while that's happening. You could do it that way. You could actually try and instill some order in this thing, but they don't want to do that. They like chaos. Chaos is what they would like. So there's it's a brawl with people going over the top rope. That's what next week's going to be.
It's a brawl for all of them, you know.
Yeah.
I say bring back Butterbean.
Yeah.
Justice for Bart Gunn.
Yes. Yeah.
If you thought Techno Team 2000 was an obscure reference,
Yep.
here's your Bart Gunn reference.
Yeah.
I think in general, across all of wrestling outside of New Japan, I'm fairly concerned about the amount of felonies committed from day to day, week to week.
Yeah.
There are so many of them, and many of them involve vehicles. I said this behind the paywall. I would simply exit the front door if I were a wrestler and have someone pull my car around, perhaps Uber to work. Really, just avoid the whole thing altogether.
Here's the deal: when this is the fun thing, when they send the intern to pick up all the rental cars, it would just be really funny if 1 week he forgot to get the insurance package. You know? Like, oh no!
Oh no!
Damn it! I knew I forgot to do something at Enterprise.
You are so fired, bro.
I'm so fired. I don't even make any money. I'm an intern. So yeah, this
some
is
poor full sales student.
Yeah, it is funny. Ryan Cicchini. Well, no, this is a different thing. Yeah, no, this was fine. Ryan Cicchini says they aren't listed, but it's definitely Briggs and Inamura. They're not on the match graphic for the Battle Royal. It's like OTM and I don't know, Gallus and some other people. But they're gonna be in it, so maybe they win. That'd be fun.
This tag division desperately needs a reset. So if this is the beginning of that, that's great.
Right.
This isn't usually the type of match where other stories get set up along the way, but they could. Like it's hypothetical in that way, but there has not felt like a hierarchy in the tag division. So hopefully this sets something up like that.
Tom Levi says Bart Gunn could be Uncle Ass. I don't know what is that.
Billy Gunn. He's an ass man. Wow.
But were we talking about that? Did I miss it? I may have blacked out.
I said Brawl for All. Justice for Bart Gunn.
Oh, Brawl. Okay. I
can't believe Brawl for All wasn't at top of mind. The greatest event in wrestling history.
No, you're right. You're right.
Was not just.
It's my fault.
Here. Why was it?
Yep. Yes. Yes. Luis reminding us that one of the Bouncy Beef Boys was bounced from the floor straight to the car roof during the tag brawl. It's true. It also continued into the back. But I want to talk about that dumb thing later. So Tony D'Angelo, because Luca and Stax are fighting 15 other men in the parking lot. They're not allowed. They're not free. They're not available. I'm sorry. Like, hey Stax, Luca, you coming in here? Hold on, let me check my calendar. No, it says here I'm fighting 25 other dudes in the parking lot, so I'm not able to attend. But I send my regrets. I'm gonna have to RSVP no. So he has a match with Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears comes out wearing a red skull mask, which I had not seen before. I don't think. Have I?
I don't think so, no.
It felt super dramatic for a dude who used to do this a lot. You know, like it just I don't know. But anyway,
like such a little kid saying hi instead of perfect time. We're like, this is like how I used to say hi to my grandparents, I feel like.
Anyway, Tony D wins. There's a lot of working over the knee, but Tony D eventually wins with a spine buster. It's good. Both guys are good wrestlers. Tony D is excellent at selling the leg. I keep saying it. Like, I don't know what the ceiling is for this gimmick, but the ceiling for Tony D'Angelo, the wrestler, is
very high.
Very, very high. It all just depends on what they allow him to do with this gimmick, you know, or if they drop the gimmick and what do they have him do afterwards. But like, he's got everything you want, man. Like he not only is he a great character, you know, performer, not only is he awesome at suplexes and technical wrestling, but like now he's like selling the leg better than most like veterans. So like the different ways he sold the leg, like after a spine buster, him dropping down all that weight onto it and then hopping around on the good leg, shaking out the bad one, trying to pop it back in place, run across, drop down to that bad leg. Oh, but that hurts to kneel on that one. I got to kneel on the other one. Like really, really good stuff. Excellent. He's better than than even I thought he would be when I fell in love with him 3 years ago.
You did. You fell in love with him when he was talking about the Hudson River with Chicago in the background.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is not a one-to-one comparison, so please don't take it that way. But like Shawn Spears has the same type of value to me that QT Marshall does, and that it's just like the same deal, right? Like the Costco guys or a guy like Tony D. The ability for a wrestler on one side of things to, no matter what the skill level of the person on the other side of things is, to maximize that to their highest potential is a art form within an art form of wrestling itself. Whether that's Big Justice with a broken foot, getting crowd reactions and dragging them through a match where there's going to be children interfering, or whether it's going to be helping a guy like Tony D showcase what he's best at in the best possible way, which I feel like is what Shawn Spears did here. Not that Tony D needed the help, but like the value of a dance partner like that cannot be understated on a developmental brand, I don't think. So just kudos to Shawn Spears. I will say there's a couple of things I noticed with talent that come over from AEW to NXT. One is there's just a certain comfort level in the ring. The other is the fashion. The fashion is just, when you look at Ethan Page's outfits and you look at Shawn Spears' outfits, like it's, I'm not trying to be tribalistic brand wise, but like the fashion just seems to be on another level in general. So take that for what it is. But sincerely, like Tony D, getting to showcase what he can do without a ton of interference, I thought was really special. He is great. And there's something so distinct about what he's able to do on this program. Because I've compared him to like the Eddie Kingston style of things a couple times, because he's there to fight you. Like it's not pretty wrestling moves like we get from a lot of people in the earlier stages of developmental. He's never been that. But he looks like he's trying to beat the hell out of you at all times.
Sure.
And a lot of times he is as safely as someone can do it with that style. But there's not a lot of people in NXT. There's not a lot of people in wrestling right now, but especially in NXT that have this type of grit about them. And then when you wrap it up in what the character is, it is a very effective package. If the rest of the family progresses along with it, I think they can come up as an act that is like fun and silly and entertaining. But like when I think about those segments they did with Legato, they can also be a very serious threat. And right now, the most successful story that they've told on the main roster is a family that's manipulative and takes guys out and is not directly a mob, but the bloodline is a cohesive family unit that is heelish. Yeah. Whatever. So I think it could translate to the main roster very, very well. They do have to have a specific time to bring them up and a specific amount of maturity to the other pieces, which I think is probably what they're waiting for. But Tony D is a full package guy from what I think most people thought was going to be a meme wrestler.
And you and I have said over and over again, very up the playbook. So like they have an undercard act that is also this on SmackDown, which is Legato. It's the same basic deal. They're basically a crime family, you know, and they can't seem to figure out a way to get them over, even though Santos Escobar could be over.
Unbelievable.
With the time, like when I say give them a push, the push is this.
Yeah,
that's all the push you have to do.
It's like a slight nudge. It's the nudge you give someone in church when you're trying to like pass the collection basket around. Like that is the nudge.
That's that amount of push. So they don't do that. But like, so what I hear is that what is Tony D and the family on the main roster? Well, it's the bloodline with more breadsticks, unlimited. Let's say.
I mean, that's a huge advantage. Let's be so for real. Like
so true. Afterwards, Brooks Beach, he tries to attack Spears also there, but Tony D is able to find off both of them at the same time with a bad wheel. But then Nico Vance comes in, the other guy, the chauffeur or whatever, and Vic Joseph was like, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, we don't really know who he is, but we've seen him the past couple of weeks. Have you been watching the program, Vic? But it's fine. It's fine. It does feel like whatever happens, whoever wins that tag team battle royal, it's not going to be Luca and Stax, because they have to have a 6-man tag with this little. That's what's happening there. So
can I just say, and everybody who watches any of my content knows that I want to marry Nigel McGuinness. No, but I love his commentary so much. Him no-selling the "who is this" moments is like my favorite thing in the world, when he's just like, it's this person. Like, that's who it is. Of course, it's this guy.
So we got what we wanted from Kelani. You know,
we did big time.
We got what you wanted, what you needed. You know, like this was like I was waiting for her to prove that she could step up and join the same thing, and the same level as not even all the way up to Giulia and Steph and Delta. Could she hang with the people who are honestly at the level above her? And yeah, she can. Like, this was great. This was everything we wanted to see. She hung in there, right in there with Giulia. It was very, very good. Giulia gave her all she could handle, and right back from Kelani. I don't think anybody expected Kelani to win. She didn't. Giulia wins. She's in the Iron Survivor, where she should be, and they've done a pretty great job of I think we could have done this earlier with her once it became kind of obvious, I think, to us and a lot of other people that I've seen, that Kelani being the first ever North American Women's Champion wasn't it. So they've done a lot more with her since she hasn't been champion that they ever did when she was champion. So this actually is good. Like, they're giving, like, her coming, like, requesting a match against, one of the top women in the world, because she knows in order to get better, she's got to test herself against the best. And then she does, and she comes up short, but she gives out her best performance. That was so much better than anything I've ever seen. The people who were raving about Soul and her, yes, the moves were excellent. I never felt like they actually wanted to win. They were just doing an exhibition of fancy moves. This felt like she was desperate to beat Giulia, and Giulia had to resort to a whole bunch of stuff before she could finally do it. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff.
This, I think, is probably my favorite Kelani match that I've ever seen her have.
By far.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that the person on the other side of the ring helped that, because when we say things like styles make mashups, right? There's all these cliches. Like, they kind of do, because Giulia, I think, had to pull something completely different out of Kelani than she had ever been before, right? So that was special. And man, for me, more often than not, simplicity is the best storytelling. And like, to try and reestablish a character for Kelani, I think it's so obvious that it's like, this is it. Just have her. Okay, I lost my title, back to square one. I got to test myself against the best of the best. And I think when you have something that clean and simple, two things happen. If you have a complicated character, I think sometimes that gets in the way of things, because you're worried about all these other aspects of who you are that you can't really just go out there and wrestle in the way that your character would. With Kelani, it felt like she had hardly any character, or almost no character. So then your motivations are very weird and ambiguous. I know she had a title, but like, it never really felt quite clear why people were fighting her for that title. And it didn't seem like she had the gusto of a champion necessarily. So this is like the sweet spot. This is everything we want for someone who's a young growing wrestler. It probably wasn't super title ready at the time. So I just all upside to all of this. Fantastic match, great performance by Giulia. Right person won, because I say this all the time too. Sorry to be a broken record, but like, wins meaning something is a good match. Wins and losses meaning something is a great match. I think this aids Kalani with the loss, and this helps Giulia look dominant because they haven't given her the wins to back up the fact that she's a world-class incoming wrestler. So this being a big win to get her into the Iron Survivor with the rest of that Iron Survivor pool, all wins all around. A++. Love this.
Yeah. Ranchikini says exactly what I wanted to see from Lonnie.
Yeah.
Physical, very physical. Yep. Sophie says Giulia and Kalani had the match of the night, in my opinion, and my favorite Kalani match so far. Loved it. It's definitely her best
Definitely
match
her
so
best.
far.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ethan and Axiom was right there too.
They were 1 and 1A, both very, very good. Speaking of things that are not very, very good, we'll get to it in a second. First thing is that it is told to all the people who lost in weeks prior that there will be 2 fatal 4-ways for the last chance qualifier for the things. And then Eddie says, wait a minute, I'm the only one who lost because of interference. You didn't. At least not because of that. But everybody else, I have to go through 3 guys to get my match. Take back in the qualifier, like blah, blah, blah. Like just she blows them off pretty vociferously. Yeah, and then she's like, okay, well, everybody else just leaves. They'll just walk away. They're excited. Oh, Alexis King doing the. I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. You're just like if like I. If his nose were a football team in Cleveland, it would not be any more brown. Like, just like no, just I don't like him being like super nice guy. It skeeves me out. You can't be super nice guy with the facial hair. It's just not. She says to Frazier and Axiom, hey guys, obviously things have been getting a little crazy. She does not say it's because of me and my bad managerial skills that I set off this giant explosion of tag teams fighting each other and have done exactly nothing in 2 weeks to ameliorate that in any way. What instead? She says we're gonna have a battle royal next week, and the winner of that will face the 2 of you at a deadline. And they're like, wait a minute, so we're both going to be in the Iron Survivor, and then we also have to have a tag team title match as well. And Nathan's like, well, let's hold on there, mate. You haven't qualified yet, have you? And Axiom's like, dude. So they get angry about that and they walk off. But then Eddie Thorpe wants to talk to her again. Like, I really need to talk to you about this. I think it's very unfair. And she blows him off. Like, really, she's not doing anything. She doesn't have a meeting she's got to rush to. I don't know what she has to do that she can't actually have a talk with somebody, one of the people that she is in charge of. As the general manager of NXT, sometimes you take meetings with the people that you were, and he feels like he wants to talk to you one-on-one. You still haven't given that yet. So she starts to walk away, and he grabs for her wrist, and she's like, do not touch me. And I just felt like that was a bit of an over thing on her part. And then, of course, while this little conversation is happening, the brawl has spilled in from the parking lot, and everyone's fighting. So she is standing in a doorway, and there's a door here, and she's talking to Eddie Thorpe here. And one of the OTM boys shoves, I think, Mark Coffey into the door, which bounces and hits her, and she falls back into some little room, like a kitchenette. I don't know what the hell this room is. But, oh, no. Oh, God, is she okay? Will she survive as we go to commercial? And we come back and she's like, I'm okay. I don't know what happened. I was talking to Eddie and then I fell down and HBK is there. It's the first time we've seen him on TV in months.
Forever,
and he's like, Eddie's like, I can explain. I was here. I saw what happened. And he just gets up into Eddie's face and shoves him back against the garage door. And is like, you get the hell out of here. You touch her. I'll swear to God, I'll end your life. He was very, very over the top in all of this. And there were also several other witnesses, including everybody who was watching an NXT that know that he did not push her, wasn't actually part of this at all. Somebody else did. It was entirely an accident. Anyone could be like, excuse me, this was all very uncalled for. I saw the whole thing. I was also standing here. The cameraman could just say, I'm going to go ahead and cue this back in the truck if you want to go see it. There's evidence everywhere that the thing that HBK is accusing him of did not happen, but that's not going to matter because now he got shoved up against a garage door by HBK and yelled in his face. So now Eddie Thorpe's going to turn heel because of a misunderstanding, and also I'm going to say it, Ava being a really terrible GM in a lot of ways.
First off, I think at this point the chaos is intentional, and I almost commend her for it. She's like, you know what, gladiator style, you guys want to just fight yourselves to the death. It's gonna make that battle royal really fast, so just enjoy the chaos. Second of all, if you don't follow her on social media during NXT episodes, you must. But I can't deny that it felt like the cult leader version of Ava came out today when somebody merely went to grab her wrist. A lot of disproportionate reactions in all of this, which is how NXT goes. I do give it credit for the fact that I've been saying switch up the playbooks across all of American wrestling television, and this is something different. This is it's not great. It is different. Freaking attempt.
It's different. It's dumb as hell, but it's different from the other dumb as hell stuff. Yeah, agree. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Like in other words, I think if the execution was better, I actually would have liked this. Like I actually don't think the framework was bad. I don't love the way that it unfolded, but if it had lived up to the potential of it, I think this actually would have been good. And it's a different way to turn somebody heel than we've been getting. So that much I give it credit for. The execution of it was not very good. But I appreciate that they did something different.
Yeah. Every time they do this kind of thing, and I'm watching going like, well, there's no call for this guy to be now a babyface or now a heel. I'm just reminded of they all have to like spend some time doing each thing before they can graduate from school. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's a thing now. You have to. There's like it would be weird if you went to med school and never attempted certain surgeries.
Yes.
You actually have to attempt some of the stuff that you might have to do when you get to the professional level. So I get that. It's just weird to me that they don't do it behind closed doors when people are obviously better at babyface or better than heel. Like have them run through a whole, like give promos as heels and faces behind closed doors. Do that. Like see, work on their heel character one-on-one with people who are trained to teach that. Have them work practice matches as a heel or as a babyface. If what they're doing on screen is effective at one thing, or if you don't really there's no reason to turn Eddie Thorpe heel. Like we didn't
especially when they need faces right now.
They need faces, and also every time he seemed to get some momentum. Unfortunately, he got sidelined with an injury. We never really got to see any of the awesome payoff we thought we were going to get from him beating Dijak in that feud because he got hurt. And so the idea of, well, now we got to turn him heel because it's, time's a waste and we got to see if he can, handle 6 months as a heel. It just feels like you didn't need to do that yet.
I agree. And I also, this one has at least had a pivot point. So many times when we get someone switching face to heel or vice versa, it's like, because they did. Like, there's no development that goes into it. Some of that is forced by call-ups, like we saw with Fallon Henley, right? They were like, well, Kiana James is gone, so we're going to have to turn you for no reason. Like, there are things like that, but I agree. I don't think we got to see the full extent of what Eddie Thorpe can do, but my bigger thing is that this program feels in the men's division parched for faces. Like, everybody that's a top talent right now outside of Trick feels pretty much, I mean, for the most part, right? Like I'm loving what they're doing with Wes Lee for the most part, but I was like, oh God, he was such a likable face, and they need faces.
Like Javon is it, but Javon's not like he just feels like the guy who's there, but is never going to be champion as long as Strick is here. You know what I mean?
Because
Like
he's a baby too. It's like, they're like, we have time with that guy, so we'll wait. But so many other top talent right now are heels.
Ryan Cicchini, because they did mention this. Vic's like, we know who her bloodline is. So Ryan Cicchini says, I think Rock gets pissed and sends Hikuleo as Ava's muscle.
I don't immediately hate that. I don't immediately hate that.
Okay.
What could he say except you're welcome to Ava? Really? Truly.
Oh my God. Who the hell is that book? That's Tala Tonga book. That's Tala Tonga. Okay, so Cyclo sends in a Humper chat about Dancing with the Stars. Everything sucks. Steven and Riley got 4th. The first black finalist couple who topped the leaderboard got 3rd. And Joey, be for real right now. Then I look over and NXT and Chase U might be sticking around. Toss me into the NXT parking lot at this point. That's what MD is. Cyclo, you have too much to live for, Cyclo. Don't do it. Don't do it, Cyclo.
I love, by the way, how much passion do you put into reading that, knowing zero of what's happening on Dancing with the Stars?
Okay, he was very good about like putting Joey in all caps. Obviously.
Oh, don't even get me to start. I don't actually know either. But you know what, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was a place where you could bet on entertainment type things.
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine if there was a place where you could bet on wrestling?
That would be crazy.
Psych! Guess what, Alex?
What?
There is a place, and you can bet right online.
I want to talk to you guys about our great partner at BetOnline AG. Yes, the place that lets you bet on pro wrestling. We've gotten our pro wrestling betting odds from them for years, well before we even worked with them. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about them. They got the earliest lines, the fastest payout, the industry best bonuses. They've been trusted for 25 plus years because of their safe and secure environment and their quick payouts. But you can bet on pro wrestling. How cool is that? If you think you know more than anybody, go ahead and look at those odds. It's the same ones you've seen on Fightful for years. You might see one that sticks out to you and you go, wait a second, there's no way that person's going to win. Why are they an underdog? Make yourself some money. BetOnline AG, and hey, it doesn't stop there. Whatever sports you want, they got you covered. Popular games like blackjack and roulette, Supernova, Skyward, all that stuff. BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can at BetOnline AG.
I wish you could see the dance party that Alex and I were having backstage. But shout out to BetOnline AG. Shout out to our underdog lock pick of Jay White, who turned $25 into $42 for me this weekend. So stay tuned, because Sean's got some of those underdog picks for you. But with all the money you're winning on BetOnline, you know what you can do?
Mm-hmm.
Head over to FightfulSelect.com.
Yeah, you could do that.
You could do that, and you could get news in the Discord and via Fightful Select posts about Ricky Starks and GCW and how it seemed like him getting pulled from GCW didn't really have to do with Ricky. Unfortunately, it had more to do with the GCW AEW relationship. You could get updates on his contract status, when his option was picked up, when his contract runs out. If you like Ricky Starks even a little, $5 is going to get you all the Ricky Starks updates on Starks Watch. But also plenty of scoops, some NXT scoops that went up there today with tonight's lineup, Eric Bischoff, etc. But yeah, head over to FightfulSelect.com. Support original reporting. Support Alex and I getting paid, quite frankly, and the rest of the staff. So we do appreciate that. And join us for our Survivor Series post-show this weekend. It'll be fun. Luis said, not Starks Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby. Stark's watch.
It's either Stark's watch, like we got to see what's happening. There's big updates, breaking news at any time. Got to tune into CNN all day in case something happens. Or it's a long running soap opera. Let's call it The Young and the Rickless. Like it's just because we are without Rick.
That's what AEW is right now.
Yeah, it is The Young and the
a 5-year-old company.
Yeah, that's right.
Without
Very
Ricky
young.
Starks.
Only in kindergarten. I want to be Ericless, but unfortunately, Eric Bischoff was on TV in 2024. So Trick Williams comes out to talk about all the people who helped make NXT what it is today and doesn't mention anybody who actually did such a thing. Because guess what? If the people who came before NXT 2.0 didn't build it up, it never would have been on TV. And then there is no reason to do any of this stuff. So you've been like, oh man, all the OGs, Tiffany Stratton, Carmelo Hayes, myself, and Andre Chase. And I was okay, fine, whatever. It's just whatever. I'm fine. Did I expect them to mention Adam Cole? No. They could have thrown a little bone Tommy Chomp's way. Tommy Ciampa, Johnny Gargano. Those guys are still getting paid by the company. Come on, I mean, whatever. Anyway, so Finn Balor, for God's sake, say Finn. You don't have to say Samoa Joe, but you could say Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura. Those guys were formative. Sami Zayn, for crying out loud.
Evan Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Just say those names as opposed
Big
to
Seth Rollins.
all these people who's been here for such a long time, including such veterans of the game as
Tiffany Stratton, who is so good for how long she's been doing this, but notably not how long she's been doing it. Yeah, Bailey, geez.
Bailey, for God's sake. Bailey, for Jesus. So he's talking about how it's so sad. Everyone is so sad. Everyone is. Not most people feel sad about. Everyone is so sad about.
It had an asterisk and it said "but Alex."
Yeah. So anyway, then he's interrupted by Ridge Holland, who's like, "I'm gonna be here." Basically,
word for word, yeah.
And then Eric Bischoff comes up on the Titantron's like, whoa, guys. I'm back at Better Than Ever. And he says that he's been watching this thing and I'm gonna be there to host a segment talking to both of you. And if you think you hate each other now, wait until after I interview both of you at the same time, because I'm going to make you hate each other more. And all right. And then apparently X-Pac had somebody who works for him who scheduled a tweet to come out right after this that said, wow, everything looks great. I can't wait to also be there. Shawn Michaels. So X-Pac is also going to be there. They're pulling out all the stops on the big go-home show. Bischoff. So let's do it, I guess.
One of those two guys absolutely rules.
Yep. Jambeard says, can't wait to see another unbiased wrestling reviewer on NXT. It was Bully and now Bischoff. Are Conan and Disco next? Don't put it past.
I mean, we do a show called Sauerkraut, so I'm not going to get on anybody, but...
No, don't put it past. Feeling GP says, Eric Bischoff on NXT, the guy who killed WCW and almost did the same TNA, the guy who started shitting on AEW heavily after they stopped bringing him in, that guy, one and the same. The same person that you described is the person who will be there.
I just wish they would go next week. It's not Eric Bischoff. He's Eric Bischoff, NXT.
Oh, nice.
You're welcome.
That's good.
You can have that one for free.
Yeah. Yes. Eric Bischoff is scheduled for an MLW show on the 5th of December, 2 days before deadline. So,
we know what their demographic is, so pulling in nostalgia people is not a bad idea. From a purely business perspective, it makes a ton of sense.
It's whatever it is. It is whatever it is. I can't stop it, so it is whatever it is. Is
he gonna work with a broken foot? Can he break the move?
We'll see. Ren, I need to know his thoughts on the new double chocolate chip cookie thing. What are your thoughts?
We all do.
Okay, so there was a weird little expositional thing, like Ren happened to have been in the trainer's room she walks out in full gear, like that was this weekend. In Pulford, that was the past weekend. She walks out in fully dressed in her gear from her match, going like, "Oh God, my jaw." Now I had to be checked out for a long time. Sorry, Charlie. Charlie's standing there with a cup of coffee, and they start walking to a car as though they're going to drive. She's just going to drive to she's just going to leave in her wrestling gear, is what it looks like they're doing. And then up walks Savion and Miles Bourne, and they're like, "Hey, did you all hear? There is going to be a battle royal next week, and when we win, we will face Axiom and Fraser at Deadline." And Ren's like, "Oh wow, that's great news." And Charlie Dempsey says, "That is not all that you missed. You're going to be in a last chance fatal 4-way next week against Cora Jade, Jada Parker, and another girl who I forgot, Kalani Jordan." And he's like, "Oh wow, I have to beat all 3 of them in the same match." And Charlie Dempsey says, "That is how a fatal 4-way works. Anyway, we're gonna go train." It was like, who is this for? This is not information you gave to the audience an hour and a half ago. It's information you gave to the audience 15 minutes ago, and you're giving it to another person who we can just assume that they found out backstage somewhere on their own time. What them telling Ren is them telling the audience, and the audience already knows. I promise you, the audience already knows. So this is just a segment that happens in a parking lot for no good reason.
I mean, kudos to everybody involved for surviving the parking lot. I think that says a lot about them, honestly. But I'm glad that they're gonna do things with Tavion Heights. He's ridiculously skilled. He should be pushed.
Yeah, that is true. Ryan Cicchini thinks that Ren will win the Fatal 4-Way so that she can eat pins in the Iron Survivor match. I'm like, they don't seem to really care about protecting anybody. Whoever's in it's going to eat a pin. So I would be surprised if it's not Cora Jade, so they can do the thing with Roxanne where like, and if I win, I won't even, don't worry, if I win, I won't even challenge you for your title. I would never do that. And then we'll do, stuff between them. It could also be Kalani Jordan to get her in there. Like, that seems like it's not going to be Jada Parker. That we know for sure, because Lola Vice, it's fully legal for her to backfist her with a brick during the match next week. So that's probably going to happen.
She's going to have her fist this time, which is helpful. I think it's probably Cora from the story intrigue standpoint. That makes the most sense. Kalani would be interesting because if she loses, I don't know if they're turning her heel or what the deal is. I hope they make her tweener. Like, I feel like that would be a better fit for her.
That one's going to be one of the most jarring, "Oh, you're a heel now" of anybody in NXT.
Yeah, it feels so unfitting of where she's at. But like her being in this and losing and getting frustrated because she could eat multiple pins too, like that would aid her story. But I'm guessing it's going to be Cora. Definitely not Jada, like you said. And I don't think Ren, but she'll do good work in it. She'll do good work in it.
Yeah, I think she's going to eat the pin in that particular match, but we'll see.
More Dancing with the Stars updates. We have Allie back, which is nice, but her favorite didn't win, so she's here to cause a scene. Well, hopefully Ricky will sing you a song later, but we're happy that you're back.
So Fallon Henley, there was a backstage segment where Tatum was playing with her dolls, and then she is intimidated by Jasmine and JC. it's vital information. I didn't mention it, but I'm going to go ahead and say Nana. There's extra consonants in Jasmine's name.
It is true.
Jasmine and JC are there to intimidate poor Tatum Paxley. They steal her doll, her Barbie, and they throw it on the ground. And a hand with long red nails and rings reaches down and picks it up and looks at it. At some point, was it Tatum who says your past is going to come back to haunt you? Something says your past is going to come back to haunt you. Of JC Jane, and I don't remember who that was, but somebody said it. I remember that.
I think it was. It was, wasn't
it? I think it was Tatum. So, which would make sense. But we're like, oh, who is the person who is grabbing for the doll? And I don't know why it didn't come to me that's who it was. But no, Tatum loses. She has a very good match with Fallon. Tatum loses, unfortunately. I thought maybe she would win because it was the main event, but then I realized, no, they're just putting in the main event so they can have the big return of whoever's hand that was. And she loses. There's some interference. I didn't like the finish very much, simply because, like, I'm going to try and do my little, what's that damn, she calls it something. There's another name for it that the person who invented it calls it, and I forget who it is. Her little finisher, Tatum Paxley, the spinny thing that she does. So, like, it's almost like
the tequila shot.
Yes. So that she tries to do that, but Fallon grabs the rope, so she doesn't go all the way. So Tatum just rolls. She does the move without the person with her, and somehow that causes her pain because she just rolls, and then she stands up and walks around and stands with her head down so she can get a famouser. And I was like, I just felt like you could have found a better way to set that up.
Yeah,
but whatever, it's fine. JC tries to get involved, so does Jasmine, but Tatum fights him off and then loses anyway. Too bad for Tatum. But then they said they're going to beat her up some more because they're extra mean girls. And then Gigi Dolin shows up. The Gigi is back. And
genuinely very happy about that.
We're very happy about that. There was the moment where the last time we saw her was when she was doing the makeover thing with Ariana
Grace. Yeah.
Ariana Venti. And she was like, I can't do this anymore. And she left, and we didn't see her again for months. And I was trying to rack my brain. Is the only reason that she is doing this because she has history from years ago with JC Jane? Because it wasn't like they beat her up prior to her leaving, right? Like, she's not the getting revenge on them for them putting her on the shelf. It's just like, she's going to help out Tatum, but also she hates JC, right?
Yeah, I think it's to reignite the JC
That's
history.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that, especially because this was one that I don't think was anything to do with NXT's fault that much. Mm-hmm. The series of matches between them just never really clicked. I think the shoulder injury happened in like the second one. So then there was just stilted timing. And then with other things going on the show, it didn't really get the prominence it probably deserved. Like, It was always just a little, they had the barbershop moment, and then the follow-up just was like a little off kilter, not because of either of them. But I'm kind of cool with her coming after JC again, because I'm hoping that we'll get some more like venom between
I hope
these
two. There wasn't much when they actually had the matches against each other.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping like if they're going to reignite it, that they'll do it properly this time.
You think they'll get a third?
I hope so.
A 6-woman thing, or is it just Jasmine on the outside or whatever? I mean, it's fine.
It would be cool. I think Gigi has the personality to be the leader of a group because we saw her be a follower of a group. And even when she was a follower, I felt like she was a standout because she had such a different personality than like Hot Girl 1 and 2 a little bit. Yeah. Like Mandy Rose was your Regina George, right? And then JC had something completely different to her. And Gigi had like this alternative thing and the sense of humor. And then as a face, I thought her sincerity and promos really shined through. So I would love it if she was there to help some other people along. It would be cool if there was like a tackler that was involved in these angles, because we haven't seen that in the multi-woman picture a little bit. Like
Right.
we in the 5-on-5 we did, but those aren't, that side wasn't a faction that was here to stay. So
Yeah.
like if there was someone that was there that was just kind of a bruiser, I think that could liven up this picture a little bit,
Yeah.
but it would be fun.
I mean, obviously she can do so much more, but them needing a third, and if she doesn't win the Iron Survivor, she doesn't like Fallon all that much. So them finding, like, you don't even have any friends. There's nobody you will get to fight us, and it's Zelta, just for one match.
That would be fun.
Like, that would be kind of fun if, like, there was the ringer they pulled in, and like just the faces on those three girls when they realize they're gonna have to take
The ringerist.
lives.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean? Like, that could be a lot of fun.
Izzy Dame would be a good shout too. I think she's been tucked away on Level Up.
Yeah, well, you know what? She's right. You know what? She's ripe for a nonsensical babyface turn. So why not? Why not? Just, she's a babyface now because they need her to be, and that's what we'll do that. It'll be fun. The Gigi says, bangs on point, Kate.
Thank you.
Great in ring. Backstage, not so much. Nobody needs Bischoff or HBK assaulting his employees, but Gigi got a main event return. She did. She did. I wouldn't be opposed at all if Gigi Dolin had got even a short reign as North American Women's Champion.
Big time. Big time. If she had been healthy, I would have thought of her as a favorite for it.
It would be really cool for her to do that. It might be fun if the way we get a Delta Zelta Zarya heel turn is by destroying Gigi. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I feel like Delta's gonna do her biggest work in NXT is like the bruiser who destroys people.
Lady
You know what I
Obafemi, 100%. Yeah.
Ethan. So Ryan Giulia thinks maybe there's a possibility that they are setting up the Josh Alexander Ethan Page
that would rule
or something.
Here for that all day. Two of the best.
They haven't done a whole lot of TNA crossover over this way.
Not
Except
yet.
for that weird Jordan Grace thing where she was like, "I'll be a part of this tag team for no reason."
Yeah, the Joe Hendry program that ended a while ago, like
a long time ago. But they haven't done a lot of that. So, all right, let's see here. Bargov says, "Much love to Kate, Alex, Luis, and all of Fightful. Screw the online weirdos. Kate is amazing. Y'all the best.
Yes, I am.
Great community."
I will a special shout out to Shawn always goes to bat for people. But Luis is like the reason I could come back on here and feel safe today to do this. So I always feel that way about Luis. He's the best at this. In fact, my cousin who watches was like, you must have really good moderators because I know you guys get a lot of weirdos, but I never really see them. And I'm like, yeah, we actually have the best mods in the game. So shout out to Luis for making it possible for me to come on here and feel safe about doing stuff because we have an extremely silly time and I don't really have to think about anything else.
Good stuff. Kylie the Gamer Princess says, "Hi SGS, stopping in to say hello. Love you all."
Hi. We love you, Kylie.
And then she says, "Night night."
Night night. Have a good holiday.
Just Ricardo says, "Alex, Kate, SGS, I am incredibly thankful for you all. We're thankful for you too, Just Ricardo. Absolutely, all the time.
Love you so much."
So just a little news break.
Dun, 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 dun. Is it about Ricky Starks?
No, it's not.
What?
Announced for AEW, Jamie Hayter versus Queen Aminato for tomorrow.
Hell
and
yeah.
Serena Deeb versus Willow Nightingale on the 7th of December Collision as the New Japan International Women's Cup qualifiers. The winners will face each other at Winter is Coming, and the winner from that advances to Wrestle Dynasty. So congratulations on Jamie Hayter and Willow Nightingale for winning those matches already. And that match against each other will be awesome.
That will be really cool. That will be really cool.
Meet Norma says, "I'm thankful for our sour family, even the vegans." Looking
Oh,
UK.
thank you.
May Gabagool be with us all. Well, not the vegans. And our souls. Eat something green for you, mamas.
We appreciate you so much, Pete Ormus. You always have such an awesome energy in here and are so supportive.
Jambeard says, and if you want to stop your partner from going blah blah blah, use BlueChew. All right, let's do some turkey puns. There's some really good ones in here. Chi-Town Spurs says Yam Yam Yigolo, which is one we got last year, and it's the best. He says Yam Yam Bigelow, but I got to change it to the right consonant. Yam Yam Yigolo is amazing. Jambeard says Turducken, not Turducken. Turducken, which I know you love.
Well, and the Duke Duck thing is where it all started. It means a lot that we go back to our roots.
Chi-Town Spurs says to hell with green bean casserole. He wants Mean Gene casserole.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great one.
Lieutenant Photo says kids' tables, ladders, and chairs. No, sweetheart, you go sit at the kids' table. And also on the top of the ladder, kids' ladder.
We
and in the kids' chairs.
We normally do Thanksgiving in smaller groups now, but when we went as a whole extended family, we had the kids' table. But my parents are both one of 7, so I have a ton of cousins. And it just stayed the kids' table until I was like 28 or whatever. Like it's always the kids' table because we were still always the children. But they took away the crayons, which is
yeah, no, so not the PFC, but the PSC, Pumpkin Spice Collective.
Now, see, I'm the leader of that stable.
Yes, there you go. Chris Pereira says Cranberry Horowitz. Chris Pereira, need to pat yourself on the back for that one. That's excellent. Chris Pereira says Butternut Squash Match.
Very good.
Tom Avelli says Mashad Potatovic. Mashad Potatovic? Okay.
I think you're probably right.
Mashad? That's very good. Lieutenant Photo says the Viper Cranberry Orton Sauce. Okay. Delgado says CM Pumpkin Pie. And Butterball Mike Bailey.
Oh,
that's good. That's
a really good one.
Chris Pereira says Turducken Team 2000.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Photo says the American Nightmare Dinner with My Extended Family.
Including sorry, go ahead.
No, and also Corey Gravies.
Corey Gravies is really good.
Yeah.
Corey Gravies is really good.
Meet Norma says Penta El Cerro Potatoes.
Some news about his contract on FightfulSelect.com, by the way.
I mean, yeah.
Not potatoes, but Penta.
No. Meet Norma says Yam Yam Yigolo.
There you go.
Again, Yam Yam Bigelow, but I'm going to do it again. Chris Pereira says champagne wishes and candied yam dreams. Champagne wishes and candied yam dreams. Lieutenant Photo says AEW presents Butterball in and Butterball out. That was the one I was laughing at earlier when I saw it in the chat. Butterball in and Butterball out is very, very fun.
Huge team show. Butterball in. Oh, man.
Chris Pereira says Plymouth Rock Bottom.
Very nice.
Alan Jeanette says the triple threat turkey trot. Alpha Bill says get these yams. And also Aussie
Thanksgiving dinner with him would be a sight to see, by the way. I feel like
it would. Meet Norma says buffet paquette. Turkey leg takedown. Gravy Mysterio. The Giblet Club Gold. The Tryptophan Randy Savage. John Silverware. Radish Rick Rude. Radishing Rick Rude is very, very good.
As is Tryptophan Randy Savage. A Tryptophan one is a deep cut. I love that.
Big Grave E.
Oh, he'll be back next week.
And then Alan Jeanette has my favorite. We know him now as Lexus King, but he used to be called Brian Pilgrim Jr.
Winner, turkey dinner. Brian Pilgrim Jr. is so good.
Oh no, he just pilgrimized his neck. Oh no! Which is when they put a little hat with a buckle around it on his neck, and then they stomp on it. He pilgrimized him.
A plastic bag could never.
No, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. All right. I listen at this point. We have one Jukebox currently. Tom LaValle says it's 3 parts.
That's
it's a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, fully rewritten, and Tom LaValle wants Linda to sing it. You know Dasher Cody Rhodes and Dancerhausen and Pretty Prancer Avalon and Jasmine Vixen, Comet Mustafa and Cupid Marshall, Abaddon and Blitzkrieg. But do you recall the most vicious wrestler of all? Walter, the Austrian wrestler, had a very angry chop. And if you ever took it, you would best your ass you would drop. All of the other bookers used to laugh and mock his weight. They'd never let poor Walter join in any match of War Games. Then one random Survivor Series KO came to say, Walter, with your chop so mean, won't you join my War Games team? Then all his opponents feared him as they shouted out in pain. I submit, I surrender. You guys win this war games.
Nailed it. You sound beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hold on, you've got one here.
I have one here.
For the Nya girl to do the Ting Tings, that's not my name. So
I think my favorite was when Dusty said a couple episodes, "Thank you, Nya girl."
Mm-hmm.
I just would like to remind you all that Ellie Cease is back and nobody requested Ricky. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
4-letter word just to get me along. It's a difficulty, but I'm biting on my tongue. I keep stalling, not keeping it together. People around gotta find something to say now. Holding back literally every day the same. Don't want to be a loner. Listen to me, oh no. I never say anything at all, but with nothing to consider, they forget my name. They call me Hell. They call me Stacy. They call me her. They call me Jane. That's literally not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. They call me Quiet, but I'm a riot. Mary Jo Lisa, always the same. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. Nyan.
Oh no, she left. She signed off. She signed off. Luis, if you're gonna do this, you gotta find me the lyrics. What is this okay? Am I allowed to do this? Am I gonna get sued by Drake? Luis, you gotta promise me I'm not gonna get sued by Drake. Luis has got to promise me that I'm not gonna get sued by Drake if I'm gonna do this one. Because I need a lawyer. Hello.
Hi, Ricky.
I need a lawyer to make sure I'm not sued by
I
Drake.
mean, honestly, you've had a hell of a run, Ricky. Like, if you haven't gotten sued yet, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
With all of the things that you get into.
I mean, there's a lot of things I could be sued for.
Ricky, are you going to the restaurant for Thanksgiving, or are you having a meal at home?
I am going to a restaurant.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Are you going to order a traditional meal, or are you doing something else?
Well, you know, I'm in Great Britain, and we don't really do that here.
Sure, of course. Yeah, I just don't know where you are, because
for us, it's Thursday, and on Thursday, I'm going to a restaurant. I think I might go and have a curry.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, right. Still waiting on them lyrics.
He's probably checking them to make sure they're okay to sing.
Well, let's see. Let's see what we'll have to
Do you
see
watch
what
Dancing with the Stars?
No, they asked me to be on it once.
I'm sure. Why did you turn it down?
No, because I have 2 left feet, don't you know?
I mean, I feel like that's the thing is they pair you
No,
with
it's true. One time I had to have my right foot amputated, and they couldn't find the
Oh.
right one, so they put on the left one. So I've got 2 left feet.
You literally have 2 left feet.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to get your leg amputated?
Or
your foot?
Well, it was bitten off by a tiger, of course.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
take it away.
This is what it says. Okay. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what they pay me for. All right. Mustard on the beat. Mustard! Suckers acting bad, but somebody got to do it. Got my foot up on the gas, but somebody got to do it. Huh? Turn his TV off. Turn his TV off. Huh? Turn his TV off. Turn his TV off. Huh? Turn his TV off. Turn his TV off. Huh? Turn his TV off. Turn his TV off. Thank you. I just wanted to apologize formally to Drake. Please do not sue me. Thank you.
I mean, it sounds mostly like you're just trying to turn his TV off, but
just saying. I mean, I don't know why why the mustard upsets him so, but yeah.
Okay, last jukebox. I think
this is going to be hard to find. I think, but
you don't have it memorized. I definitely don't.
Well, no, I feel like perhaps so. We'll see what was going on, but it would be good to have this particular person to do this promo since it was delivered to his son.
It's true. It's true. That's very astute observation.
We'll see if he's around.
That'd be neat.
I'm gonna say bye and see if Dusty is here.
All right, enjoy your curry on Thursday.
Hey, baby, it's me. What am I supposed to do here? Happy Thanksgiving to all. Happy Thanksgiving to all, and to all a good night.
And ''tis the season for that kind of talk.
It is the season. It's true. Up here on the cruise ship, we just got all of our turkeys delivered.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We are some hungry boys up here, and girls, of course, too.
Of course, yeah.
Mae Young can put away a turkey. Let me tell you what. Like if you want to see a lady who knows her stuffing, that is Mae Young. One time she was stuffed with a hand, you know about that. But she knows all about stuffing. So,
well, what is your favorite part of a Thanksgiving meal? We have to know.
Oh well, I'm big on the sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, yeah.
Sweet potatoes, you just layer them in brown sugar and marshmallows. And I'll just slap them on I'll just take one plate that's just that. That's all I want. And I need 4 or 5 plates, of course.
Of course.
But that's that. So sometimes I'll put the sweet potatoes on top of the turkey because as everyone knows, turkey is usually very dry. So
it's very compelling stuff, but they found it.
All right, that's good. Hold on. Let me go ahead and click on this thing and put it over there. And let's see. So I'm supposed to do a let's see here. Here we go. All right, here we go. Okay. Here we go. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is Eddie Kingston's promo to my son, Cody Rhodes. No. We're going to get this right. We're going to do this real quick. Cody, you talk about grinding. You talk about living this rough life. That's hard times, all that jazz. No one's going to outgrind you, all that stuff. My man, it's easy to say that when you grew up around, used to be legends like Arn Anderson. Yeah, you heard me. Keep shooting murder ones at me and I'll knock your jaw right off your face, partner. You know what I grew up around? You know what I grew up around? Alcoholics, junkies. I grew up around that. And I had to survive. Baby daddy, that's hard times. I had to grind. You couldn't last a day in my shoes. So don't tell me nothing about grinding. You talk about the sport of pro wrestling, that's a joke. Because every person that you face has been a child. I am a grown-ass man. and I will put you in the ground and smile, if you will. But here's the best part about the whole thing. That guy you like to mention because you like to be friends with the boss, Tony Khan, he paid me to show up. And now he's going to pay me to kick your ass and taste that championship. Oh, yeah, you want to go protect it? I swear on my beautiful mother's eyes, if you don't shut up, I'm going to gouge your eye out. All right, let me speak. Yeah. It's my time now. Real easy. Relax. You had yours. Tony Khan said to me, you know what, King? You want no DQ, man? That's fine by me. Just, Cody has to accept. You have to accept. Because either you're an egg-sucking dog or you're an egg-sucking bitch. Oh, my God, I said something. That's it. That's the whole promo.
That makes me miss Eddie Kingston so much on television. God.
It's true.
That's how he showed up for an open challenge, and you just know exactly who that guy is.
This is true. It would be nice, but unfortunately,
you did a great job for it.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So that's it. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving to all.
Happy Thanksgiving, Dusty.
And we'll see what December brings to everyone.
Of course.
Hopefully you've all been good and you can write a letter to Santa Claus and he brings you everything that you want on your Christmas list, if you will.
And I will. Thank you so much, Dusty. Happy Thanksgiving. We appreciate you around here.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Also, everything sucks. Also, keep cool, gabagools.
Yeah.